Good morning. It's a wonderful Sunday. Just going to check to make sure the system is working as we move forward here in this continuous now moment. You're more than likely watching this as a recording instead of the live. That's because there's not quite enough momentum yet to have people come and visit these live evangelical messages quite yet. It's not evangelical. But it is on a Sunday. And what a glorious Sunday it is. I trust you're experiencing that as well. Today we're going to talk about how we actually create our reality. It's an important subject, as all of the subjects are that I talk about in these lives, because this is instruction, and I'm giving to you the keys to the kingdom. Your ability to create whatever reality you're wanting to experience simply by setting your focus, your attention, your intention, lining up with that, and allowing the universe to effortlessly manifest it on your behalf. And it's a complicated matter. It's a sophisticated matter because life experience, physical reality, is extremely sophisticated. There are so many moving parts. I'm talking about behind the scenes. And if you think about that paradox, when you look out in physical reality with your eyeballs, there are a lot of moving parts. But there are even more moving parts behind the scenes, coordinating all the cooperative components to enable what your eyeballs see to be seen. And you are a big part of the orchestration of those cooperative components. Wow, this is unfolding perfectly as I'm listening to myself speak. You are the organizing principle. You are the one with your vibrational fingers on the vibrational levers of the fundamental spiritual dynamics underlying how physical reality works, underlying how all that is works, underlying how you work. And today we're talking about one of the most important aspects of how all of that works, because you are at the center of it. And we're going to be talking about a very important aspect of you, and that is your attention. Your attention, not your intention, your attention. So how do we actually create reality? Many people in the New Age spiritual community believe that it happens through affirmations, thoughts and beliefs. Many people in the Abraham community believe it's about focus. It's about thoughts and beliefs and using your emotions for what they're intended, which is as guides, vibrational guides. And all of that is accurate. And underlying all of that is your attention. Your attention is what gets the whole process moving. And it's also, my broader perspective just corrected me, it doesn't get the whole process moving, but it definitely adds to the momentum of the process that got going way back long ago when you were first forming your core intentions. So your core intentions, your core values are what keeps all of this going. And you use your attention to add more momentum to the going that keeps going. Why am I talking about your attention? Because the paradox of it is, you can say affirmations all day long. You can do all the processes that Abraham offers all day long. But if you're not paying attention to where you're paying your attention, then you're counteracting your vibrational focus. And it's a paradox. You can't help but put your attention somewhere. So what is attention? Attention isn't just where you're putting your eyeballs at any given moment. Attention isn't just what you might be holding in your hand and looking at. Attention isn't just thinking of an affirmation or even thinking of a thought or a belief. Attention is the force of pure positive energy that you are directing at any given now moment. And it is irrespective. So it doesn't matter whether you're speaking something or thinking something or believing something. Your attention predominates. And so you can be saying, oh, this is so good. I just had a conversation with a neighbor yesterday, out on our beautiful patio. And she was talking about wanting to have a lot of money. And then she said, but I know it's impossible in my job. And her attention is betraying her when she said those two contradictory things, because nothing is impossible. She can have a lot of money. But the fact that she said that it's impossible shows her where her attention is. So your attention is a force that is originating in the pure positive energy that you are. It is the director of your free will. Wherever you put your attention, you are going to flow there. And this neighbor that I was just talking about had her attention on the absence of what she's wanting, which is lots of money. Ooh, something just happened. I want to go turn off my refrigerator. I will be right back. So you can be looking at something, and your attention, this is so good, your attention can be on a version of that thing you're looking at that is not aligned with what you're wanting from that thing. This is why attention is so important. For example, I have a client who is focused on, her attention is attending to a version of her son who is disappointing her. This is the powerful reason why I'm talking about attention. So here she is, she's looking at her son, and her attention is on the behaviors of her son that are causing within her disappointment. She's gotten to the point, we're going to be having a conversation today, me, my client, and her son, because her son is a client also. She's gotten to the point where she wants to have no more contact with her son because of the strong disappointment she experiences when he behaves in a certain way. And the reason why we're going to be talking, the three of us, is to try to soothe that attention. Because here's the thing, at the same time that she's putting her attention on the behavior, the version of her son who's behaving in her mind badly, at the same time that she's doing that, there's another version of her son who is in the exact same moment loving and cherishing her. And as long as she keeps putting her attention on the version of her son that is disappointing her, she's adding more momentum to that version of her son so that that version, the disappointing version of her son, dominates her awareness. So whatever you put your attention on is going to, in time, dominate your awareness until the momentum is so strong that it's very difficult to not put your attention on that thing. And when you put your attention on that thing, you add more momentum to its dominance. Now, physical reality is a construct. It's an illusion. You are creating it ongoing, as am I, as is everyone else. It's both a co-creative endeavor and an individual endeavor. We're doing it per individual, and we're also doing it co-creatively. Because of that, just like I started this live, it is a very sophisticated endeavor, ongoingly creating physical reality. There are so many moving parts, both seen by the eyeballs and the moving parts that you cannot see. This physical reality exists in non-physical. It is not physically real. It looks that way, but it's not. And so, I'm getting to a point here. You can put your attention on the version of physical reality that you cannot see with your eyeballs. And when you put your attention there, because of the nature of attention, that version in time will dominate your awareness. So this client whose awareness is currently being dominated by the disappointing version of her son, she could put her attention on the version of her son that she cannot see. She can't see it because her current attention is creating a dominant version that's dominating her awareness. But that doesn't mean she can't put her attention somewhere else. She can put her attention on the version of her son who loves her. And if she does that long enough, consistently enough, the version that's currently dominating her awareness will recede, and the version of her son that she's now putting her attention on will begin to dominate her awareness. This is why it's so important to understand the importance of attention. Attention adds momentum. It perpetuates whatever you're paying attention to. It perpetuates the momentum of whatever you're paying attention to. And your attention is a non-physical instrument, which means you can put your attention on something that is not present in physical reality, in the version of physical reality you're experiencing. And that thing that is not present in the version of physical reality you're experiencing will show up eventually in the physical reality you're experiencing, because you're the creator of the experience you're experiencing. And the things that you're experiencing in your experience get there through your attention. Now, it's important to understand the nature of attention, because whether your lips are moving or whether your brain is active with thoughts and beliefs, your attention is dominating. And so you can be at cross purposes. You can have thoughts and beliefs like my neighbor. You can have thoughts and beliefs, or even say words that are aligned with what you're wanting, but you're paying attention to things in your physical reality that cause you to be not a match to the things you're wanting. So you have to be lined up. You have to be aligned with everything you're wanting in every aspect of your being. Everything from your attention to your awareness, to your beliefs, to your thoughts, to your words. And before attention is vibration. Now, as you're moving through manifesting something you want, all of this gets worked out eventually, this alignment business I'm talking about. And this is why it often takes a long time for a human being to manifest something they really want, something they strongly desire. Because all of these elements have to come into alignment. Your vibration, your awareness, your vibration, your attention, your awareness, your beliefs, your thoughts, and your words. All of these things have to come into alignment before you can receive the full-blown manifestation of that which you're wanting. But along the way, as you align these elements, then you begin to see more and more evidence, because the more and more evidence you begin to see is consistent with what I was saying earlier, which is when you put your awareness, your attention on something in non-physical that isn't present in your physical reality, that thing you're putting your awareness, your attention on, is going to emerge into your physical reality as evidence. And the first evidence that emerges in your physical reality is an emotion consistent with your alignment, which is always positive. If you're feeling negative emotion, then that tells you that some of those elements that I mentioned, attention, awareness, vibration, attention, awareness, beliefs, thoughts, words, somewhere in that string, you're out of alignment. And this is so good. This is why manifestations sometimes take a long time to manifest, because there's a lot of cooperative components within you that need to align, in addition to the cooperative components that are co-creating the experience that you're wanting to see manifest. Those have to come into alignment as well. But those things, the cooperative components, happen relatively quickly, instantaneously, my broader perspective said. Most of the delay is on you. You are usually the final cooperative component that gets in line, into alignment, that allows you to realize, to make real, to realize that which you're manifesting. So, let's use a current event as an example of what I'm talking about here. There are, according to the surveys, 87% of Americans are afraid of and don't think that artificial intelligence is a good idea. So 87% of Americans are afraid of artificial intelligence. That same number believes that artificial intelligence is not a good idea. My brother is one of those people. And because he has his attention on the belief that artificial intelligence is not a good idea, that it's going to kill off humanity, he keeps manifesting for himself evidence that proves his attention true. In other words, he is drawing to himself, into his awareness, manifestations, evidence of where he's putting his attention, which is AI is bad and it's going to wipe out humanity. So from time to time, he sends me research studies talking about how misaligned the researchers are discovering AI is. And so when I, with my attention on the extreme positive nature of artificial intelligence, when I respond to him and I say, well, that study is showing me that the researchers are on it and they're working on understanding how to manage, how to train AI so that it is aligned, he responds by saying that I have my head in the sand, or that I'm pie in the sky, or I'm telling people to don't worry, be happy. And of course, if you follow the videos I put on this YouTube channel, that's exactly what I'm doing. I do have my head in the clouds, because that's where everything I want is, and that's how, see, this is awareness, this is attention. I am attending to where I know the things I want are, which are in non-physical. And so these 87% of Americans who are focused, they have their attention on their thoughts and beliefs that AI is bad, they manifest for themselves evidence of that which they're putting their attention on. And when they get that evidence, they go, see, it's true. And so now their words and their beliefs and their attention and their awareness are all in alignment. So then they get more of what they're afraid of. Now, physical reality has a lot of moving parts. There's enough moving parts in physical reality to confirm any thought or belief of any given individual. And so at the very same time that 87% of Americans who believe that AI is a terrible thing, the 23% of Americans who think it is a great thing are getting evidence supporting their belief. And those people are going to end up with a future probable reality confirming their belief. In other words, they're going to rendezvous with a version of AI that is creating for them the world of their wildest dreams. And meanwhile, the other people, for some time, will suffer until they're willing to put their attention on the growing body of evidence supporting the contrary belief that they don't believe in. This is so good. This is how humanity moves forward. Early evangelists or early adopters who have their attention in the place consistent with positive expansion get excited about something new. And then most people who are who are putting their attention and their awareness on what is, because they're not early adopters or early evangelists, they're looking at what is, tend to lag in their adoption of the new good thing. Meanwhile, the pessimists who start out with the new thing by criticizing it or saying it will never happen, they're usually the late adopters because they don't believe it's a good thing. But the early adopters and the early evangelists, they're turning that thing into the thing that they believe it is, which is good. And eventually, other humans catch up. So, you can be one of those people, an early adopter, an early evangelist, by aligning with what you want. And it has to be full alignment, beginning with vibration, then attention, then awareness, beliefs, thoughts, then beliefs, then your words, tuned by your emotion. So what does all this mean in terms of instruction? What steps can I give you so that you can better align all of these elements I was just talking about? Let's count them. We're talking about attention, awareness, thoughts, vibration. Thank you, broader perspective. Attention, awareness, thoughts, beliefs, words. So six elements that need to be in alignment before the full-blown manifestation of that which you want manifests. How do we do this? Well, you first begin with meditation. Meditation calms the mind. It begins to soothe the rampant, almost seemingly uncontrollable thought process that is the process by which most people calibrate to their reality. So meditation is really important to calm the mind. And then, as you're calming your mind, every morning, I think I said this a couple of lives ago, every morning when you wake up, you want to put your attention, I was going to say reach for the evidence, put your attention on things in your immediate surroundings that you can appreciate. Why do I say this? Because through that simple process, you're beginning to train yourself into a chronic state of appreciation. Appreciation is at the top of Abraham's emotional scale, or near the top. It's like 2 or 3. So appreciation, the vibration that we describe as appreciation is very high vibing. It's very much aligned to what you're wanting. And so if you wake up each morning and you put yourself in a state of appreciation by putting your attention on the things in your immediate surroundings that you appreciate, you're beginning to train yourself to do several things. Number one, you're beginning to train yourself to perceive the state of vibration we're calling appreciation. Number two, you're beginning to tune yourself to how good that emotion feels. Number three, you're making yourself more sensitive to when you're not in a state of appreciation. And number four, you're beginning to chronically practice an appreciative state, which is ultimately one of the best states to be in terms of these 6 elements being aligned so that you can begin to realize more and more your manifestations. So, meditation, start out with 5 or 10 minutes each day, and then every morning when you wake up, put your attention on things that cause you to feel a sense of appreciation. Now, you have to develop momentum, right? So I said at the beginning of this live that attention perpetuates momentum. Typically, I'm going to go a little bit longer. This is important what I'm about to say. Typically, most human beings don't remember their dream experiences. When you wake up in the morning, you're not starting with a blank slate. Because in your dream experiences, everybody dreams, even if they don't believe they do, they are. Even if they don't remember what happened when they're dreaming, they're still dreaming. So when you start the morning, you're not starting with a fresh slate. You're picking up in the morning where you left off in the dream state. And if you don't remember what you did in your dream state, usually you pick up where you left off when you went to bed. But if your dreams are particularly intense, your dreams can override what happened before you went to bed, even though you won't recognize what I'm saying because you're not aware of what you're dreaming. And so you wake up in a not good mood, in a less than positive vibration, in a less than good feeling emotion. And so most people don't know that what they're dreaming about. And so when they wake up in the morning, they wake up in a negative state. And when they recognize their negative state for them tends to feel normal to them. So they don't recognize that they're in a negative state. They just think they're awake. And their attention on the fact that they're awake in a negative state, they don't call it a negative state because it just feels normal, but their attention there causes them to amplify the momentum of that normal state. So this is why when you wake up, deliberately choosing to express appreciation for things that you can appreciate is important, because it begins to tune you in to the fact that you're not in a high vibration when you wake up in the morning. So there are 6 other processes that I talk about with my clients, similar to the one I just talked with you about, that have just as important purposes as the one I just described. They're all designed to help the practitioner come into a chronic state of high vibration so that then they can see the version of their physical reality that best match everything they're wanting. And it takes a while because, as I've said a couple of times throughout this live, attention perpetuates momentum, which then creates the thing you're paying attention to dominate your awareness. So it takes a while to soothe that dominant awareness of the momentum of the what is of your life experience, which tends to be leaning mostly toward negative with some positivity every now and then. This is why it takes a while, because you have to soothe that momentum before you can develop a basket of evidence that offers you a preponderance of evidence showing you that everything is working out for you. So my clients with these 6 practices they use the practices at various levels of effectiveness. They're 100% effective, but some people don't use them as deliberately as they could. And so it takes a while to soothe that old dominant momentum and replace it with the new, fresh, positive momentum. And this is why it takes a while. But it is 100% effective over time. So don't take it for granted that I gave you what seems like a simple, maybe even a silly morning exercise. This is a critical, powerful practice to find things in the morning, first thing, that you can appreciate so that you end up in a state of appreciation in the morning. It's so good. So, attention is a powerful force. It is a force emanating from you when you direct your pure positive energy in a particular direction. It occurs as attention, and that attention adds momentum to what it is, to whatever it is you're putting your attention on, which causes what you're putting your attention on to dominate your awareness through manifestation. So it behooves you to be aware of what you're paying attention to, because eventually, if you chronically put your attention on something, it's going to dominate your awareness. That you should be able to understand that is both super good and super bad, but it's mostly super good. Because if you put your attention on a lot of negative things, those negative things in general, are going to dominate your awareness, and your life experience will be full of negative things. But also, if you put your attention on positive things, over time, positive things are going to dominate your awareness, which then is going to cause you to double down on looking at positive things, which will begin to add more dominant awareness. And before long, your life experience will be one of joy. That's so good to know. You are a powerful creative being. You have at your disposal the entirety of all that is as pure positive energy, backing you up, assisting you for free without any effort on your part, assisting you to realize your dreams. Your job is putting your attention on that which you want and focusing on that exclusive to everything else, and then watch as the universe over time delivers everything you want effortlessly. What a great way to end this live this morning. In 2 weeks, I'll be offering another one of these. If you're watching this as a recording and you have a question, feel free to put your question in the comments. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. And in the meantime, I'll see you in the next live or see you in my next recorded video.